Okay, so the song you just heard is called Cripple Creek, and that is an old time classic. When people hear you play Cripple Creek, they're like, oh my God, this person really knows how to play the banjo. That's kind of that benchmark from when you go from being a beginner into stepping into, like, the intermediate stage of things. It is one of the first songs that we learn on banjo. And again, it's so important to learn the foundational pieces, because when we're learning other people's songs and when we're learning things that have already been put before us, it starts to give us structure. It starts to help us understand how to get comfortable with our instrument. And it also helps us to build a aural relationship, a listening relationship with the notes and with what notes go together. So we start to, as the more songs we learn, the more we start to kind of see the movement and, like, what things can connect when it comes to playing our own music and when it comes to freestyling. Okay? And the other way is to take the long route, which is learning a bunch of music theory and understanding the fretboard and all of that stuff. And that's just really not the way that I teach. And it's also just not the traditional old time style. Back when we first started, like, playing banjos, and when African Americans started building banjos, it was all about a sound and feeling relationship. And so the whole music theory thing, while it is helpful and while I definitely understand a lot of it, and I think it has been amazing with helping me with other instruments, when it comes to this particular instrument, I like to stay in my heart and stay connected to more of the traditional ways with this one. Okay, so let's get into some of the basics of how to start playing the clawhammer. So we're going to start with the basics, and first we're going to talk about the tuning of the banjo. And so any 5-string banjo is going to traditionally and standardly be tuned in G. What that means is that without putting any fingers down here on the fretboard, we already have a G chord. If you don't know much about chords and you don't know much about like chord theory or anything like that, don't worry about it. Just know that this is a chord, that's a chord, this is a chord. So a chord is, in the basic term, a chord is a set of notes that goes together harmoniously that allows us to play different songs. So a note would be, and a chord would be a series of other notes that go with that note, so that we can create songs and, like, a full sounding song as well. Okay, so firstly it's tuned in G. If you want to go in order with the strings, we have G, B, G, B, D. All right, and so that those are the notes that make up a G chord. G, B, D, over and over again. Fantastic. All right. So next we're going to get into the strumming pattern, which is called the Bum-diddy or the Bum-chicka, depending on where you go. It has many different names. And basically that pattern is, okay, great. So when you play the clawhammer style, you want to take your hand and you want to put it into almost like a half fist. Try touching your fingernails to this nice little meaty heel in your hand here. Okay? And then you want your thumb to just kind of be out like this. Okay, so getting a close up on that hand bend there. So as you can see, I have my hand bent into a little bit of a fist. It's okay if your fingers like touch here. They don't have to. I just say that as a guideline. But you want to put your fingers into this shape, and you can use this finger as a way to strum. So fingers here. Look at that little thumb. It's just kind of hanging out there, just ready to hit that 5th string. And then you have these fingers here. This finger is out so that you can actually strum. Strum. So notice how that first finger is strumming, but we don't strum with all 4. It's too loud of a sound. It's too crass. It's too intense. You only need just that gentle one single finger. Okay? Awesome. And you can choose whatever finger it is that you would like to choose. Is we're going to either use this finger to strum or this finger, whichever one you choose. You can also use both as you get to, move it along a little bit more. And so, let's see. So if you can look here, as I'm strumming, you can see I'm not using all 4 fingers. It's too harsh, too intense. But I am just using the nail on that first finger. Fantastic. Strumming an open G with the Bum-diddy pattern. So, what the Bum-diddy is, so a lot of people, when I play banjo and people see it and they see this little short string here, this is actually a rhythm string. And so people are always like, what's it for? Like, why do you have that? And it actually keeps rhythm in the old time style. It's also used for playing and it also does add sound quality. But the great thing about playing the clawhammer style is that it takes care of the rhythm aspect. It also takes care of the chords and it also takes care of the notes. So it's a very good style of playing for those who are wanting to play solo or to play alone. When it comes to the bluegrass style, a lot more of that has to have its own, like, has to have a band, somebody who brings percussion, somebody who brings um, all of the parts that fill in, a guitar, so on and so forth. But any can be played in any setting. So with the Bum-diddy pattern, we're going to go with strum. And the first time you strum, your thumb actually lands on the top string, but you don't pluck it. And the second time you strum, you pluck it. So strum, strum, thumb, strum, strum, thumb, strum, strum, thumb, strum, strum, thumb. Okay? So to get a close up on that, thumb, strum, strum, thumb, strum, strum, thumb, strum, strum, thumb. Notice how the thumb lands every time, but it only strums on the second one. And that will be the basis for learning the Bum-diddy pattern. And so that builds the basis for all of the songs that we will play. And you'll see that it changes up a bit later on, but this is the base pattern for playing. Okay? And so those are things that we're going to learn. So this week, I would like for you to just simply practice getting used to playing that Bum-diddy pattern. Strum, strum, thumb, strum, strum, thumb, strum, strum, thumb, strum, strum, thumb. Okay? And get used to it to the point to where you don't have to think about what you're doing. It's okay. Take your time. Start very slow. Strum, thumb, strum, strum, thumb, strum, strum, thumb, strum, strum, thumb, strum, strum, thumb. Okay? So this week I would like for you to practice that. Practice getting used to playing those strumming patterns. And then the other task is to learn the names of each of your strings. So the good way to remember this is girls, dig, good, banjo, banjo, dudes. So girls, dig, good, banjo, dudes. Okay? And so that is where we will start. And from here, it's about to get real magical, y'all. This whole world of banjo, as I've been learning it, has really blown my mind. It has opened up so much for me, so much understanding for myself, so much understanding of the relationship of music. To itself and to what's happening within music, as well as like my relationship to music and my role in helping this instrument to express itself. You know, the banjo, as I've said in many of my videos, the banjo has come to me in some very magical ways. And it's something that I feel is calling for its voice to be expressed in a new way. But again, as I say in all of my videos, do it because it is you and not because you're trying to be different, you know. So if you feel called to play the natural, like old time style, and that's what sits with you, do that. If you feel something within yourself that wants to play it differently because that's simply what you're being called to do, go ahead. But we never go out of our way to try and be different because it's an oxymoron. We essentially are created uniquely as we are, and nobody can serve the world what we're serving the world, if we're, even if we're playing the same thing as somebody, like, you know. And so this is about tuning into your own medicine, tuning into what you have to offer, and getting into the space of that you're already created unique and don't have to do anything outside of that in order to really flourish as a musician or to really flourish as a human being in general. So thank you for tuning in, y'all. I'll see y'all next time. Enjoy practicing, and I say 10 minutes a day, like, will actually bring a lot more progress. I'd say do 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes in the evening if you can, practicing the Bum-diddy pattern and learning your string names. Say them out loud as you pluck them, and you should be good to go by next week. All right. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.